bought a Fendi bag on Vestiaire Collective and it was a fail again. Hi and very welcome! My name is Mary, this is my channel Lumi Level Up and I'm a luxury lover on an average income trying to be more mindful with my money, which of course I haven't been when it comes to the matter of this video. I shared with you a while ago that I stopped shopping on Vestiaire Collective and why I did so and never wanted to go back. Yet still, several months later, I slipped once and did purchase something again from Chanel, which has been offered by a professional seller, so I felt quite safe that in case something was wrong with the item or I didn't like it, I could return it, which I then ended up doing because it didn't fit me, but that was a topic of another video. And already back then I was somewhat worried that it might become a bad habit again of browsing and worst case shopping on Vestiaire Collective again. Well, since then it actually did happen twice. One of the purchases went very pleasantly and I still have to share it with you here on my channel. And now this one, the Fendi bag that I bought, this is definitely a fail. I stumbled upon a Fendi shopper tote. I think it was listed for 160 euros, so a very good price, full leather. And I was able to haggle it down even to 140 plus shipping. This time I chose the direct shipping without the Vestiare Collective authentication and check up front, because as you already know, I don't trust them with their authentication and especially with their check of condition anymore, so I was happy to save the 15 euro there and do all the checks myself. And till this point I didn't have any experiences with the Vestiaire Collective Direct Shipping return process, which will change with this item and this video. Luckily, because somehow I was lucky with being unlucky, because that bag was way smaller than I had expected it to be, which big parts were my own fault, because I dumped on it very impulsively and didn't check the measurements beforehand. But I think we'll jump right into the unboxing part of that video, so you see the bag and what we are even talking about, before I share with you why I was able to return it and my experiences with that so far. Oh wow, this is really starting out somewhat unpleasant. Firstly, this is way smaller than I had expected the bag to be. Secondly, it was squished into our mail case. I can't remember the correct word for it right now. The place where you put letters and not packages. This is a package, this is a bag. It was squished to fit into the mailbox. Mailbox is the word. So yeah, that's not the seller's fault. Well, maybe it's a bit of the seller's fault for putting a bag into an envelope instead of putting it into a package, and then the delivery guy squished it into our mailbox. So I hope it is still in good condition. And I'm somewhat surprised by the size, which, well, probably is to blame on me because I didn't take any measurements. Why keep I doing that over and over again, ordering something without checking the size beforehand? I should have wondered at that very good price point. But let's get into this and see if hopefully the bag didn't get any damage from the way it was smushed. Okay, we have tissue. And it seems to be a soft leather, so that it should be quite forgiving. It's a cute bag, but it's so small. I thought that I bought a shopper tote for work, which, well, definitely is not the case. But that's my own fault, definitely. And it seems to be a bit out of shape because of the way it was shipped and smushed, but I think it's nothing too dramatic and I think that it will get back into shape. So here we are with a, let's call it, mini shopper tote. Let's give it a little spin at the bottom and a look inside. It is an open tote with one zip compartment. And I would like the shape, I would like the compartments, but I would have liked a bigger size a lot more. I cannot necessarily blame the seller for the size. Well, at least not for my expectation of the size that I had. I will put the pictures of the listing on screen for you, and you can let me know if you would have seen from these pictures already that it is a smaller kind of tote that does not work too well on my shoulder, just in the crook of my arm. I was expecting a regular sized shopper tote, and shopper totes in my mind, they are on the bigger side. And I wanted this bag to fit a laptop. I wanted to use it as my new everyday work tote in black with silver hardware. Somehow from these pics I was just certain it would be a normal size, so quite big open shopper tote that would fit a laptop. But I know that's definitely my own fault. I cannot blame the seller for me not taking measurements and jumping onto the purchase super impulsively when seeing a Fendi tote for 160 and then down to 140 euro. But what I can blame the seller for is the way how she packaged this item. Because if she would have put that bag in a box, the delivery guy would not have been able to stuff it into our mailbox, and I'm not sure if the camera does pick it up very well, and I don't know if these stamps have been in the bag before the shipment and that's just a thing that happens, or if this happened because the bag was so squished into the envelope. And I don't think that it is terrible. I would be fine with these slight dents and misshapening of a bag at that price point, especially if this was a big regular sized shopper tote. Then it would have been a great price. Still slightly misshapen. But what I'm not so fine with are the handles, and I'm quite sure that it won't show here on camera very well. I can try it, but guess we're better off if I film some close-ups for you and put them on screen. So the leather from the handles is separating from the glazing at some parts, which can happen. I do have quite some designer bags where the glazing is not the very best anymore. But I think it should be listed, especially if an item is listed as very good condition. What do you think? Just to make sure that there were the right measurements in the description, I measured the bag that I got. And the listing said it would be 25 centimeters by 20 centimeters by 15 centimeters. And my own measurements said it would be rather 27, so a tad bigger, by 21, 1 centimeter more, by only 6 to 7 centimeters. So slight differences in the length and the height of 1 to 2 centimeters, which absolutely can happen depending on where you measure, and that wouldn't be a problem at all. But a difference of 15 to 6 centimeters in width. That's less than half of the expected width, which one would have expected if one would have looked at the measurements, which I didn't anyways, but still, with that big difference in width only being half as narrow as the bag should be, I was quite confident to contact Vestiaire Collective and ask for a return. I sent them all the measurements I took of the bag with a picture of the width and a measuring tape, and just to be safe, I mentioned the handles as well. Here I have to admit that my measuring tape really is super run down and some of the numbers are very rubbed off, but I think you still could get that it's a 6, if you know that I told you it's 6 centimeters. I got the answer to my first email that the differences just are 1 centimeter and that they need very exact pictures to evaluate if there even is any reason for return. If I could redo my pictures with a ruler, please. And that they don't see at all what's wrong with the handles. I see that my measuring tape was not the very best, so I redid the picture with a ruler and I answered that it's not about the 1 or 2 centimeter differences in length and height, but that there is a 9 centimeter difference in the width. And I attached another picture of the handles as well, because when they ask for it, they will get another one. They then replied yet again that they are not sure if this is actually an issue or if I maybe measured the bag incorrectly. And they sent me a plan where to measure the bag. I will put that image for you on screen as well, as if I'm an idiot. And this plan does not make too much sense, because it does include the handles in the height of the bag. And when I measure the handles with it, it's I think nearly 40 centimeters in height, and then it doesn't match neither my own measurements nor the measurements of the seller. So this plan for measuring is not that accurate if you ask me. So I gave them the height from here to here and the height from here to here and wrote them that if this is what they want to know with the handles, that that measurement is not correct either. And I sent them the same picture of the handles yet again, but this time I marked the exact places where the leather is separating from the glazing. And then I got the answer that they have reported the problem to their specialist department and are still waiting for a response. As if it's not obvious, that there is a difference between 9 and 15 centimeters. Then there was the weekend, where they probably don't work at the Vestiaire Collective customer support, but at least I got a daily email notification letting me know that they didn't forget me and that they were still working on my problem. And on Monday, finally, I got the confirmation that, oh yeah, the measurements seem not to be the same measurements the seller provided and that I can return the item. Which is good news. But it took 4 mails for me to explain to Vestiaire Collective the difference between 6 centimeters and 15 centimeters. I'm still not sure if they even took the handles into consideration. But maybe they were like, okay, on that ruler it's 6 centimeters, we cannot discuss about that. Not sure if they would have allowed me to return it because of the condition. I know that my initial reasons for wanting to return that bag in the first place are not that pure, because I was so surprised by the size and I was hoping and expecting a bigger bag, but the measurements were not correct, which, if you want to see it that way, I have been kinda lucky about in this case, because this gave me the chance to return the bag. And I still think the handles should have been mentioned. What do you think? Is this still very good condition? The description just said very soft leather bag in very good condition. That's everything there was. And there was no detailed picture of the handles and the glazing. Lesson learned, hopefully. Hopefully I don't purchase anything that impulsively anymore, and hopefully in the future I will check my measurements. And as well the learning that if you receive an item you might not be 100% happy with, maybe it's worth taking the measurements, because they might differ to the measurements in the description, and then you might have a valid reason for return. That's already everything for today. Thank you so much for watching. Hope to see you next time, and bye! Would have liked a bit of What's wrong with my eye? How? Now the other eye is hurting as well. It's contact lens. Ouch. If you never had contact lenses, you can't even imagine the pain they could put you in.